Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel video Learn English Through Story. Story the mother loves. So before we start the story, please subscribe my YouTube channel. She held him in her arms for the first time on a rainy night, when the world outside felt cold and uncertain. The room was small, the lights were dim, and there was no one beside her. Yet in that moment, as her son cried softly against her chest, she felt a strength she had never known before. She whispered a promise into his tiny ear, a promise no one heard but her heart would never forget. She promised that she would be enough. She promised that no matter how hard life became, she would protect him, guide him, and love him with everything she had. Raising him alone was not something she had planned, but life rarely asks for permission. The days were long, and the nights were even longer. She worked small jobs during the day and stitched clothes at night when he slept. Her hands grew tired, her eyes heavy, but she never complained. Every sacrifice felt worth it when she saw her son smile in the morning. That smile became her reward, her energy, and her reason to keep going. As he grew older, she noticed how quickly time passed. One day he was learning to walk, holding her finger tightly, afraid to fall. The next day he was running ahead of her, confident and curious, asking endless questions about the world. She answered every question patiently, even when she was exhausted. She wanted his mind to grow strong, his heart to stay kind, and his dreams to remain alive. Money was always short, but love was never missing. She made sure he never felt poor, even when she skipped meals so he could eat. She turned simple moments into beautiful memories. A walk in the park became an adventure. A shared meal became a celebration. A bedtime story became a lesson about courage, honesty, and kindness. She taught him values not through words alone, but through the way she lived her life. There were nights when she cried silently after he fell asleep. She worried about the future, about whether she was doing enough, about whether he would forgive her for what she could not give. But every morning, she wiped her tears, smiled, and faced the world again. She believed that a child should never carry the weight of a parent's struggles. As years passed, her son became her greatest pride. He was intelligent, thoughtful, and respectful. Teachers praised him, neighbors admired him, and she thanked God quietly every night. She watched him grow into a young man, taller and stronger than she remembered, yet still carrying the innocence she tried so hard to protect. She never asked him for anything. She never reminded him of her sacrifices. She never made him feel guilty for the life she lived. Her love was pure, selfless, and unconditional. She believed that a mother's duty was to give, not to demand. One evening, when the house was quiet and the sky outside was painted with stars, her son sat beside her. He was unusually silent, his eyes filled with thoughts. She noticed the change but did not interrupt him. She had learned that silence often carried more meaning than words. After a long pause, he finally spoke. His voice was calm, but heavy. He told her that he had an opportunity, a choice that could change his future. It involved leaving home, traveling far away, and building a life of his own. He said it would take time, effort, and risk. As he spoke, she listened carefully, her heart tightening with every word. She knew this moment would come one day. She had prepared for it, yet nothing truly prepares a mother for letting go. Fear tried to rise inside her, but she pushed it away. She looked at her son and saw not the little boy she once held, but the man she had raised with love and strength. He told her he was afraid of hurting her, afraid of leaving her alone, afraid of choosing himself. His voice trembled as he waited for her response. She reached for his hand, just as she had done when he was learning to walk. Her touch was gentle, familiar, and full of reassurance. She smiled softly and told him that her greatest success was seeing him strong enough to choose his own path. She reminded him that love does not mean holding someone back. Love means giving them wings, even when it hurts. Tears filled her eyes, but her voice remained steady. She told him she did not raise him to stay small for her comfort. She raised him to grow, to explore, and to become who he was meant to be. She told him that no distance could ever weaken a bond built on true love. That night, after he went to bed, she sat alone and allowed herself to feel the pain she had hidden. The house felt quieter than ever before. Memories surrounded her in every corner. But beneath the sadness, there was pride. Deep, powerful pride. When the day came for him to leave, she packed his bag carefully, folding each piece of clothing with love. She placed a small note inside, written in her careful handwriting. It reminded him of who he was, where he came from, and the values he carried within him. She did not cry in front of him. She hugged him tightly and told him to go fearlessly. As she watched him walk away, her heart ached, but it did not break. She had given him her whole life, and now she gave him her blessing. Years later, her son returned, not as the boy who left, but as a man shaped by experience. He carried success, wisdom, and gratitude in his eyes. He knelt before her, held her hands, and thanked her for everything she had done. He realized then that his strength came from her sacrifices, his courage from her example, and his values from her love. She smiled, just as she always had, and told him she never expected thanks. Seeing him stand tall was more than enough. A mother's love, she believed, was not about possession. It was about preparation. It was not about control. It was about freedom. And it was not about reward. It was about unconditional giving. In the end, her greatest gift to the world was not her struggle, but the man she raised through love, patience, and silent strength.